Welcome to the serious test series. So today I will be discussing about the test 2. Today I will be discussing about the test 2. What is the syllabus? A quick revision. It is not a classroom program. So a quick revision about test 2 syllabus, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5 for test 2. As you know, unit 3 is called as economic organization, unit 4 is called as political organization, unit 5 is called as religion. So unit 3 we will be understanding about economic anthropology, in unit 4 we will be understanding about political anthropology, in unit 5 we will be understanding about the religion. So a quick revision about the syllabus and the topics I will be discussing now for the test 2, and after that I will be discussing the previous questions of 3, 4, 5 and today's daily schedule which I gave, that daily schedule also I will be discussing, so that you will be understanding, you will be coming to one conclusion. After that, Ashwin, All India rank 235 will be joining you and he will be explaining how there is a quantum jump from 230 marks to 283, 53 marks, how he improved, and he will be giving his insights about the test series, as well as he will be in contact with you also for this particular test series. So anthropology test series test 2 schedule is 3, 4, 5 of socio-culture anthropology. So unit number 3, in unit number 3 we have economic organization, meaning, scope and relevance of economic anthropology. What is the relevance of economic anthropology? So see, so first we have to understand about economics of modern society and economics of simple society. Studying about economics of simple society comes under economic anthropology. Studying of economics of modern society comes under economy, comes under economics or modern economics. So two concepts are there. When we study about the economics in simple societies, it is called as economic anthropology. When we study about economics in complex societies, it's simply called as economics or modern economics. So here in this particular economic anthropology, our major understanding is with respect to how the economic relations are there in simple societies. In how the economic relations are there in simple societies means they give importance to culture, they give importance to values, they give importance to human relations, they give importance to kinship, they give importance to culture, they give importance to customary laws. So in that way, so in all the simple societies of the world, when we talk about the economics, when we come across with respect to economics, they give importance for the internal aspects, they give importance for non-material aspects, they give importance for means, not ends. Whereas in modern economics, we give importance for ends, we give importance for materials, we give importance for tangible objects. But in this way we will be understanding the difference between economic anthropology and economics in this first topic, which is called as meaning, scope and relevance of economic anthropology. This is most expected question. Relevance of economic anthropology means how this economic anthropology is there in 21st century, how this economic anthropology is there in contemporary society. That is first topic. Second topic, as you know, formalist and substantivist. Formalism is about modern economics, substantivism is about primitive economics. What is this primitive economics? What is this modern economics? We will be understanding here. Modern economics is called as formalism and primitive economics is called as substantivism. So who are the proponents of substantivism? Who are the proponents of formalism? We will be making a note and we will be understanding from the perspective of principle of maximization, means and ends, principle of rationality, demand and supply. In that way, various principles we will be having a debate between the formalism and substantivism is the second topic. Third topic, principles governing production, distribution and exchange. What are the principles in simple societies? What are the principles? Culture is one principle, human values is one principle, way of living is one principle, nature is one principle. They gave importance for nature, they give importance for nature, they give importance for exchange, reciprocity, give and take. So in that way you have to mention about the principles which are governing production, distribution and exchange, their reciprocity, their redistribution and market. With examples you have to write. Production, food production or food collectors. Then coming to distribution, it is reciprocity, what is redistribution, what is market exchange, different means of exchange. These all things we will be discussing here. And globalization and indigenous economic systems. Globalization and indigenous economic systems. So, in the globalization and indigenous economic systems, we will be understanding about how this globalization is responsible for changing the indigenous economic systems, how this globalization is responsible for changing the pastoralism, changing hunting and gathering, changing. So, how these all are getting changed because of globalization, that we will be mentioning here. So, economic organizations, meaning, scope and relevance of economic anthropology, formalist and substantivist approach, principles governing production, distribution and exchange, globalization and indigenous economic systems. This comes under unit number 3. 4 topics are there. 4 topics are there. Next, PYQs. 2021 question, last question. Modes of subsistence, direct question. Modes of subsistence means, what are different modes of subsistence are there? Hunting, gathering is a mode of subsistence. Pastoralism is one form of subsistence. Swedening, which is called a shifting cultivation, is one form of economic subsistence. Then intensive agriculture is one form of subsistence. So, different forms of subsistence with examples you have to mention, which is 2021 question. With the help of appropriate example, explain the various forms of exchange systems, reciprocity, redistribution, market form, free market, these all. Direct question, 2017. Discuss the principles governing, I told you this is most expected question. Discuss the principles governing production, distribution and exchange in simple society. So, what are the factors, what are the principles which are responsible for, production and distribution and exchange, that we will be understanding at this particular point. So, unit 3 यहाँ से होता है. Unit 3 is expected question. You will be having nearly 20 to 30 marks will be from this particular unit, an easy topic also. Only you have to remember some examples like Portland system, Kwakitul societies, different examples like Kushkung Bushman. Those all examples are there in the textbook. Those all examples are also there in the yes. Next is about unit 4. Political organization and social control. Band level political organization, tribe level political organization, chiefdom level political organization, kingdom level political organization, state level political organization. So, different political organization we will be understanding here. Band, features of band, how the political systems are there. Tribe, features of tribe, how the political system is there. I forwarded you the notes 15 minutes back. Please, I gave you 3, 4, 5 my classroom notes, as well as value added content for separately for 3, 4, 5 I send, and please if you go through that is enough and more. And textbook material, textbooks hard copies, you will be getting flowcharts and examples. This is enough. If you read more also, you cannot accumulate, you cannot accommodate in the examination paper. So, I recommend you to have limited resource. Next, concepts of power, authority and legitimacy. Everyone will understand power, authority, legitimacy from the context of administration. But you have to remember that yes, power, authority and legitimacy in the administration context, in political context, but remember that it should be in the context of tribal administration. It should be in the context of tribal examples. For power, take the tribal example. For Ashanti tribe you can take. Authority, you can take the example of Gond priest. Legitimacy also, you can take the example of Kasa tribal community of Meghalaya. So, in that way, power, authority and legitimacy. Social control, law and justice in simple society. Social control and law and justice in simple society. So, how and what is the mechanism for social control? Means controlling the society. How we are going to control the society? By 2 mechanisms. In our society also by 2 mechanisms. One is violent mechanism, another is non-violent mechanism. For example, violent mechanism is in our society I am talking about, not simple societies. In our modern society, the violent is capital punishment. Capital punishment is violent mechanism. Violent means of social control. Whereas non-violent also, peaceful resolution like fine, 500 rupees fine, 1000 rupees fine, that is called as peaceful resolution. So, social control and law and justice in simple societies. is mainly by, you have to mention the peaceful society, peaceful resolution and violent resolution, or violent resolution and non-violent resolution. Murder for murder or beating with stones. So lot of examples are there that you have to mention in the violent resolution. Non-violent, avoidance, negotiation, mediation, oath and ordeal will come here. So these are the social control, law and justice in simple societies. Who gave this? This is studied by Heuvel and Weaver. Heuvel and Weaver, political anthropologists of India, political anthropologists of British, had gave this political anthropology principles in simple societies, how to control the simple societies, Heuvel and Weaver. So in this way, unit 4 you have 3 topics. One is called as political organization and social control, band, tribe, chiefdom, kingdom and state, concepts of power, authority and legitimacy, social control, law and justice in simple society. How do political organization of simple society establish power, authority and legitimacy? 2021 question. This is 2020, power, authority and legitimacy. 2021 question. Discuss different social control mechanism, violent mechanism and non-violent mechanism. Differentiate between state and stateless society. Discuss the nature of law and justice in simple society, citing suitable examples. How does customary law function in tribal societies? Customary law means local laws. Customary law means local laws or culture derived laws. Like for example, oath and ordeal is the best example. In Gond tribal community, the person who did mistake will be taken near a pole which is called as Gosains. They will be taken near the pole, and near the pole he will be asked to take the oath. After taking the oath, the person will be taken near hot boiling oil or red hot knife. He will be made to lick the red hot knife, or he is asked to put his hands into the boiling oil. So if his hands are burnt, then he is a guilty person. If his hands are not burnt, instead of keeping in hot boiling oil, then he is innocent. That is the best example for customary law. So how the laws are coming out from the culture, how the laws are coming out from the traditions is called as customary law. So that is what unit number 4. Here also you will be getting 20 marks, nearly 20 marks. Take my word, from complete socio-culture anthropology module, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5 together, 70 marks will be there in the examination. So please, those who are writing mains, those who are going to clear the prelims, don't neglect. Socio-culture anthropology is all about examples. In socio-culture anthropology, the concept is less, examples are more. Remembering things are more. Remembering the examples are more in the socio-culture anthropology. It might be 2.1 culture, 2.2 society, 2.3 marriage, 2.4 family, 2.5 kinship, or 3 economic organizations, 4 political organization, or the 5th, religion. Unit number 5 is religion. Unit number 5 is religion. So in religion, we have the first topic, anthropological approaches to the study of religion. What are the anthropological approaches to the study of religion? Anthropological approaches to the study of religion. One approach is called as evolutionary approach, means how the religion got evolved. You know, from animism, animatism, fetishism, naturism, totemism, then polytheism, now monotheism, according to E.B. Taylor, evolutionary line. So that is evolutionary line. Psychological approach, how the psychological approach according to Levi-Strauss, man, for a boy, newborn baby, father is super powerful. Slowly as he growing up, he understood that is psychological approach. Functional approach, Malinowski, I want some answers for the question. So if no one is answering, then I came to a conclusion, religion is the only concept which is having answers for all the questions which are logically put. So evolutionary approach, psychological approach and functional approach. Monotheism and polytheism, different varieties of monotheism. In the notes PDF you can open and see different varieties of monotheism, unlimited monotheism, exclusive monotheism, cathanontheism, henotheism. In the same way, polytheism, monotheism and polytheism. Sacred and profane, which is given by Emile Durkheim. Sacred and profane, what is a sacred concept, what is a profane concept? When I am in the religious circle, I will be very much sacred. As I am going away from the sacred center, as I am moving away from the sacred center, I will not become non-religious. I will not become non-religious means religious thing will be there in me. Understand this. Profane means not non-religious. Not, two times not. Not non-religious means profane means religious only. But being practical, being rational, being scientific is called as profane, profanity. So sacred and profane, myths and rituals, myths and rituals. Next topic is myths and rituals. What is myth? What are rituals? What are different varieties of rituals? Social context of ritual, functional context of ritual, myths. This I expect this time 2022 you will be having a question on myths and rituals. Different forms of religion in tribal and peasant societies: animism, animatism, fetishism, naturism, totemism. Different forms of religion. Religion, magic and science. If you remember, James Fraser, he gave the evolutionary line from religion to magic to science. How the evolution happened from religion to magic to science is, yes, magico-religious functionaries or magico-religious practitioners, compulsory you have to add current affairs. Today, now after the class, I will be sending you snippets, compiled snippets, compiled case studies, 500 case studies I will be sending you, another 200 I am making, but what happened means 1 to 150 I compiled in a very small, then 150 to 500 what happened, little bit more content is there. So I thought from 500 to 700 more 200 I will be giving. I will reduce it like how 1 and 150 very small to the points are there. I will be trying to making it and I will be giving it by 20 days. But today you will be getting 500 case studies. Please make notes out of it. In the case studies I mentioned that this case study can be useful for this particular topic. In the same way you remember and add in your answer sheet. For religion, you will be getting lot of case studies. If you add case studies, you will be getting the marks. Animism and deep ecology, 2021 question. Animism and deep ecology. Everyone had confused this. Hey, kya hai animism and deep ecology? Animism and deep ecology means, if you remember, Rajmahal Hills, Saurya Paharyas, what they believed, after the death of their ancestors, the ancestors will be roaming in the Rajmahal Hills. So they don't want to leave the Rajmahal Hills. Why? Because the Rajmahal Hill is the abode of the ancestors, abode of the gods. The souls are roaming in the... So that is the reason we call it as Rajmahal Hills as sacred groves. Rajmahal Hills as sacred groves. That is deep ecology. Souls are present in the ecology. Souls are present in the environment. Souls are present in the nature. Nature and religion cannot be differentiated, cannot be separated. That is the meaning of this. So you have to mention about the tribal societies who believe that the soul is in the nature, who believes that the soul is present in the ecology, the soul is present in the forest. You can take the example of Medaram Sammaka Saraka Jatara of Telangana. For every 2 years, Medaram Sammaka Saraka Jatara will be happen. You know, they will be worshipping the trees. They will not worship any idol. They will worship the tree. The largest tribal festival in the world happens in Warangal district of Telangana. So, deep ecology. So, there is an inherent relationship between the animism and deep ecology. There is an inherent relationship between animism and deep ecology. Difference between religion and magic. Difference between what is religion, what is magic. You have to mention religion definition, magic definition. What is a religion definition? What is a magic difference? What is the difference between the religion and magic? These all things you have to mention. Difference between the religion and magic. Short notes on totemism. Totemism, totem, symbols. Totems are symbols. Totemism, some people will worship some objects. Some people will be worshipping some animals. Some people will be worshipping, some tribal communities will be worshipping rabbit's foot. Totems. These are symbols of worship. Symbols of power are called as totemism. Most expert. Social context of totemism, functional context of, for everything you have to remember just structural point of view, functional point of view, social point of view, functional point of view. Critically examine different anthropological approaches to religion. Different anthropological approaches to religion. Direct question, no. Anthropological approaches to the religion, but the question is critically examine, means write negatives also. Why? Because British anthropologists believe that the monotheism is the highest form of religion, civilized form of religion. So that is criticized, if you remember. how you can tell that monotheism or single God is the highest form of religion? So negatives you have to write with respect to evolutionary approach, negatives you have to write with respect to psychological approach, negatives you have to write with respect to functional approach. I also gave in the classroom with respect to symbolical approach, structural approach. So 5 approaches you have to mention about the criticism. So critically examine different anthropological approaches. So I recommend you everyone. So this 3, 4, 5 units, easy units. Today Monday, according to the weekly schedule which I gave you, 3 economic unit syllabus is Monday, Tuesday. Political anthropology is only Wednesday. Why? Because only 3 topics is there. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days you have religion. So my dear students, I am telling you, please don't make your own schedule. You follow this schedule. Why? Because accordingly I will be pumping the notes. Accordingly I will be sending you the notes. So no need to worry about your schedule. You follow this schedule. Morning you prepare. Night you write one answer and send me. Daily answer writing evaluation I will be doing. In the same way you can do with respect to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. In this way, if you do know, it will work. It will work. And one more thing, don't get confused. And don't get confused. Make the resource as limit as possible. Write more example. This case studies I will be sending today. No, please now see, everyone will write the content. So the only difference will make your answer is the case studies or examples, snippets which I am providing you. Try to add that, then your answer will become unique. So in this way, 3, 4, 5 units you have to prepare. So major things which we will be sharing by Ashwin is about, there is a very good jump from 230 to 283 and how to do the test series, how we have to use the test series. It's not about joining the test series, it's about how we are using. I am telling you openly, it's not about joining the test series. I am very honest, you have to use the test series. So how we have to use, as well as the strategy for test series as well as your anthropology will be taken the next 30-40 minutes by Ashwin. Please.
Thank you, sir. So thank you so much. So I joined test series once I am done with my prelims result in the last week of October, I guess. So most of the toppers, whoever you see, they'll say that form a peer group, like form a peer group of at least 3 to 4 people and share your answers. So in Vishnu Sir's Academy, the peer group is formed by Sir itself. So here, Sir had taken this peer group concept to the next level, and he's also, so Sir had taken this peer group concept to the next level, and he'll be posting daily 2 or 3 questions, depending upon the concept. These questions can be even previous year questions, or these questions can be which Sir thought that may be coming from the current affairs. So you should, okay, sir. Once I am done, once I am done, I will take all your doubts. Until then, I will talk once, then I will take your doubts. Sir will be posting 3 questions daily, and Sir will also evaluate all your answers, and he'll give you some feedback. So when I first started taking anthropology, I followed the blog of Sachin Gupta, who was 2017. He got rank number 3. So in his blog, he told that he used to write daily 2 answers, and he used to get evaluated by his mentor. And he made a notes of all these 2 answers year long, and that notes was around 600 pages. So in such a way, you can also make that notes format once you join this anthropology test series. So if you are writing 2 answers daily, try to write it religiously. Like don't write it just for the sake of it, but try to keep some mind and try to give it some respect while writing those answers. And try to finish it in time also. Keep around half an hour daily. It can be in the morning or in the evening. And try to write down these answers efficiently and try to post in the group. So when I joined the group, there were 2 girls. I could not remember their names. So I used to read their answers also. So in such a way, you can even read the answers of others who are very consistent, and you can improve upon from those answers. Say for example, there may be some examples that you should quote in anthropology, and it may be difficult for you to find those examples and collaborate everything at one place. So this group can be one such way where you can share even some of the good examples which you have come across, some tribals or some unique practice that is there. So in such a way, you can also collate some of the examples that are there. So continuing further about how to write test series, I will briefly say something about me. So in 2020, I wrote first time mains with anthropology optional, and I got around 230 marks. Then in paper 2, I got around 123, which was a fairly good number of marks. But in paper 1, I got only around 107. So this year I got 283. There is a drastic jump of 53 marks. I did this jump in paper 1. I got 153 in paper 1, and in paper 2 I got 130. So there is at least 46 marks jump in paper 1. So I'll share you the reason for this jump, so you can also implement in your examination whenever is possible. So in anthropology, there are some anthropologists name. For example, when you are writing about structuralism and you do not quote Levi-Strauss, then it can be a biggest mistake on your side. So in such a way, for every answer that you write, you should find one anthropologist and his work. That brings you the authenticity. For example, when you are writing the definition of family, you can write n number of definitions. But if you write the definition given by Catherine Go and quote her example of the Nair society and write down the entire same definition, that will give you more marks because due to the authenticity in the definition that is there, because they have done field studies, they have improved upon the definition. In such a way, you can also work upon and you can bring the authenticity in your answers. And the second thing that you should do in the examination is try to underline those important anthropologists and their works, so that these can be your highlight. When the examiner is reading your paper, he had n number of papers to read. Your paper should be one which should be standing out. So for that, at least try to underline or try to keep some boxes around your answers. Try to draw some very good diagrams. So to do all this in the examination, you need a lot of practice. You can't go and sit directly in the examination hall and I'll write from today. You can't do that directly. For that, you should have some practice beforehand. So for that, you should start writing answers daily. You ask any topper, he will say that at least form peer group with some of your classmates that are there, at least 2 or 3 people, and try to share answers. But here in Vishnu Academy, sir is providing you the platform to share the answers. So follow that religiously. Then comes the importance of test series. So the importance of test series is twofold. One is to improve the speed. So if you see the anthropology answer sheet, there are 19 questions which you should write in 180 minutes. So you should at least write one question in 10 minutes. So to get that speed, you should practice a lot. So for this practice, you try to fix the time limit. Like write entire test series. If you are offline, come to the academy and write. But if you are writing online, ask some of your friends or your parents. If you are at home, ask your parents to keep a stopwatch for 3 hours and give you the paper exactly at 9 o'clock and try to ask them to pull back the papers at around 12 o'clock. So that you will get this sensation here in an examination hall and you will fix to that 3 hours time limit. And try to be as innovative as possible in the test series. Try to draw some flowcharts. Try to make some diagrams. So for diagrams, there is this topper called Kirti. She is 2016 topper, Kirti Chekuri. She had made some excellent diagrams which are freely available online. You can download them and you can draw those diagrams, practice those diagrams. And for remaining parts, Vishnu sir's notes is also very good. He also incorporates various diagrams and examples. You can pick up those examples and you can incorporate in your answer sheets. Then once you are done with the speed, then comes the structuring of your answer. So structuring is one of the key aspects in the mains examination per se. So for structuring, I used to follow the introduction, body, conclusion format. In introduction, you try to quote the anthropologist's name and his definition as introduction. For example, there is this question called define family and what are the factors leading to the changing in the structure and function of family. So for this, what can be your introduction? So your introduction can be definition of family. Family given by some ex-anthropologist in her ex-work is this and this. So this will take you around 3 lines. So first complete the introduction part. Then in the body part, try to divide your question into 2 parts. There are 2 parts. One is the define family. Second is the what are the factors that led to change in structure and function. So you already defined what is family. You can even write some very good examples of how families are around the world. You can bring some tribal examples. Then you should write the subheading as reasons for change in the structure of family. There you can write off varied reasons. You can write off 3-4 reasons in bullet points and you can elaborate upon these things. Then in the functional part of it, you try to say why the reason is, what is the reason for change in the functions. Once you are done with it, go for a very good conclusion. Your conclusion should stand out. your conclusion can be like this. You can be futuristic. You can say how the family can be in future. Here you can also quote the neo-evolutionism, where they'll say all evolutions are happening in a parabolic way. In that you can even quote, once upon a time everything used to be a group thing, like hunters and gatherers used to be groups. Then we came to the concept of nuclear family or singular family. Then again we are going to the group family. You can draw this diagram, you can keep a box around it, and then you can even say this can be the future of it. Your conclusion will be futuristic. So here you can stand out from others. Or you can even say that psychic unity of mankind. You can say all families and universal organization, all these changes are happening worldwide. So you can quote such very good examples in the conclusion so that your conclusion will be standing out from others. Our aim is to be different from others, because in mains, everyone will write the same answers, everyone will have the same content. What is those two things which will make you stand out? One is the structure of your answer. In that structure, you should always follow introduction, body, conclusion, and your conclusion should be very, very attractive and impressive. Second is completing the entire answer sheet. So you should definitely complete the entire answer sheet so that at least half mark makes a huge difference. For example, this year with 1 mark there are at least 70 ranks that changes. 1 mark there are 70 ranks. So even if you get half mark in each question, it will bring you a drastic jump. So don't leave any answer. So why you should follow Vishnu sir's test series is, one, to improve upon your speed. You should try to do it even in the GS also, because even in GS it is all about speed. So you should write more tests so that your speed will enhance. Second thing is to structure your answers very well. So for structuring, you should think upon it before writing your answer only. So this you can't do it in examination hall. This you should do it once in your home, once you are in a very peace and calm mind. You should do all this structuring, all this conclusion, what you will write in conclusion, what is your definition. And third, you should make a list of anthropologists' names and their works. You should at least try to remember some of the key anthropologists and their case studies. For example, when you are writing the economic anthropology, you should definitely incorporate the Collaring theory by Malinowski. That should be your highest preference. And you can draw diagrams so that those diagrams will fetch you extra half mark. I am stressing upon this half marks because, as I already told, these half marks will play a very huge difference in your examination. Half for every 19 questions, you will be 10 marks ahead of others. So you should also keep these things, small things in mind. One is the speed aspect. Second is the structuring aspect. Third is the anthropologist names and their works, which are very much important or which are very unique, and everyone knows this, and you should also know them. And you should also find, fourth is finding very good examples. So for examples, I used to follow Vishnu sir's snippets. He used to keep these snippets. I read 1 to 150 snippets. There are some very good examples. There is this lady from Kerala who had helped in improving the life of tribals by providing them land rights under the FRA Act. And you can also have this universal example called Niyamagiri Hills, in which there is this example of how the local institutions are working. Then there is this then you can also take examples from varied reports. For example, Zagza report is one thing where you can find examples in a very structured way. For example, when you are writing about tribals and PISA Act, or tribals and law and order, or tribals and Naxalism, there are some very good examples. There are some 3 good examples. One which I remember, which is called Narayana Patnam example, I guess, where there is one tribal activist who had been arrested under the UAP Act, then he was released. And you can also quote some of the current examples that is happening around you, where varied activists are being arrested. So in such a way, you can incorporate some very good examples. So I'll conclude everything which I have said in the last 10 to 15 minutes. First thing, with Vishnu Academy, sir is providing you a platform to write answers daily, so that you have this motivation to write, because there are varied peer group which are motivating you to write answers also. That you can do. So in that you should write answers religiously. Like you can't write it for 1 day and take a break for 10 days, then write again. No, you should write the answers religiously and try to write it in such a way that it can be useful for you once you are revising it at the end. So that should be your main motivation while writing these daily answers. Second, while writing the daily answers, there are some people who will be writing very good answers. So you can read those answer sheets and you can incorporate some very good ideas in your answer sheets. So these 2 things you can do with the help of the daily answer part of the test series. Then second thing is regarding the test series itself. There are 4 main aspects in the test series. One is the speed. You should improve upon the speed. Once you are practicing more, then only you can improve upon. Then second is the structuring aspect. In structuring, you should write in a very good format. IBC is the format which I followed, and you should address every part of the question. Then third is using the anthropologist name so that it will provide you the authenticity. For that, you gather around 10 to 15 anthropologists' name, their work and their examples, and try to use them in your answer sheets wherever it is possible. Then the fourth part is using innovative examples or innovative conclusion so that you can stand apart. So these are the four things you can use a test series for, and you can improve upon your marks. Then the last part of the test series program is the discussion classes. So in the discussion videos, sir will be saying you how to write the answers. So sometimes you may, for me per se, I like to listen when someone is saying. Like when someone is speaking, I can grasp more. So if you are such a candidate, you can watch the live videos or you can even watch the recorded videos. I should confess, I used to see the recorded videos in a 2x speed so that I can even save some time. If you are willing to watch it for a whole 1 hour, it can be beneficial for you. Or else you can also watch in 2x. Time is very precious in the next 3 months. So you should also definitely follow discussion videos, because in discussion videos there are some questions which are very repetitive. For example, there is this question called homonization process. What is the differentiating between ape and humans? So there is this homonization process where we'll be discussing about 5 aspects. One is the bipedalism, then there is opposable thumb, then there is encephalation of brain, then there is this speech concept, a language that had been developed, and there are these dietary habits. So these 5 things had made us separate from apes. So in such a way, these are the questions that will be repeating, like every 2 years they'll ask the same question, what is homonization? So when you are writing those repetitive questions, you should know at least the bare minimum of what everyone writes. So for that you should follow the discussion classes, because sir will target every person. Like at whatever stage you are, if you see the discussion class, you will be very well aware and you will be at the same level of others. So you should definitely watch the discussion videos. In the last part of test series, which I forgot to mention, is the answer sheets that the sir provides. So answer sheets, for every question sir will try to provide answer, but it will not be in the word limit. Sir will provide the answer in a generalistic form so that you can understand what is the concept and how he will be providing you with the content. So you can take that content also, and your task is to make it for 150 words. You should eliminate some of the parts which are not required, and you should make it concise. For 10 markers, you can use the answer sheets well efficiently. I still remember the last time there was this question, deep ecology. So this question sir had given in his first test series, which is a sectional test. We wrote the deep ecology question, and that same question came in the 2021 exam. And I did not have content at that time. So sir had provided with the content. So you can use that content and you can incorporate that directly in your answer sheet. So such questions are very much important, because if you see the trend in the last 2 to 3 years, there are questions which are repeating, which we are talking upon, but there are some bouncers also. For that you should be prepared. There are some questions like Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which is very difficult and you can't find anywhere. So sir has notes for that also. And the last part and the very good part of this test series is, whenever you are in a doubt, you can definitely call Vishnu sir. And it's just a phone call away. Whenever you are calling, he will pick up your call and he will respond at any point of time. And if you are having any doubts regarding your test series or regarding any daily answer, you can directly message sir, and sir will be very accommodating, and he will also provide you with the answers that you are looking for. And even the management here is also very friendly. You can come here and you can write the test series here in the institute itself, so that you will be accommodated to the examination environment. Once you are accommodated to it, then your final examination will also be like a mock test. You are giving one more mains mock test. So that's it. If you have any doubts, drop some doubts in the chat. I will try to address them. Oh, the question animism and deep ecology. This was a question in the first test that we have wrote. The first question. This was the first test also. The first question. So any doubts? You can ask regarding the test series or anything else regarding anthropology. So short notes, you should make it for the purpose of revision. So when you are writing these answers only, try to make some bullet points. For example, you are writing daily answer. It will be around 1.5 page. In that remaining half page, you make these bullet points of the entire, like I will say one example and it will be very much beneficial for you. So there is this question called how to resolve the issues between tribals, the ways to resolve the issues between tribals. Then there is this violent means. Then there is this booing. Such there are some 7-8 ways in which the tribals resolve their disputes. There will be some kingsmen. So at the end of the answer, I used to keep one very small sticky note. On that, I used to write the various ways in which you can resolve these disputes, and you can write those examples there. So while you are writing your daily answers only, you can make your short notes, but you should keep it or collate them at a very good place so that it will be very much useful for your revision. That is one thing that you can do. This is very good question. Ranjit had asked very good question. He was asking how to connect anthropology with GS. So there are some overlapping in GS. For example, when you are reading the society part or the social issues, in social issues, particularly regarding tribals, it is nothing but anthropology issues only. For example, when you are reading about caste system, in GS you will be reading in a generalistic way. What is caste or what are the changes that are happening? But here you'll be reading the reasons for it. So in GS answer, you can quote the example of dominant caste, and you can write some examples of dominant caste. For example, in UP, you'll be having this example where Brahmins will be cooking food for Yadavas. Such examples you can write directly in GS. And for GS to anthropology, in GS you will be reading more about current affairs. For example, if there are any issues regarding tribals, or is there any report regarding tribals health. For example, in GS2 you will be reading about National Family Health Survey 5. There you will be getting various data points regarding what is the tribal anemic rate in women, what is the vaccination rate in tribals. So all these things you can use it in the chapter 6 of the anthropology paper 2. And even in the GS4, when you are writing the ethical aspects, you can always quote the example of ethnocentrism versus the cultural relativism. So you can write, you should respect the others, and you can write about the cultural relativism aspect. And you can also quote the example of Panchashil that you will be reading, and how Panchashil inspired other countries also to follow. All this there is this very narrow connect between GS and anthropology, because anthropology is more specific to tribals and GS is more wide. But there are some topics like caste system which is like in both the papers. So you can read upon and you can improve upon these two things. That is the link. Okay, can you go slow? So Sandeep, how to interlink paper 1 and paper 2? This question is very good. So in paper 2 we'll be mostly reading regarding the so in paper 2 we'll be mostly reading regarding the Indian part of anthropology. But even in the Indian part of anthropology, the anthropological thought will be similar. Like the anthropologists who are speaking are more or less similar. For example, when you are writing about caste system and what is the structure of caste, you can bring the concept of Levi-Strauss and you can say he was the one who depicted the structuralism, and you can quote some of the examples or some of the works done by him. And when you are writing about Indian anthropologists, most of them are inspired by the Western works only. For example, L.P. Vidyarthi was inspired by the work run by Robert Brown and Malinowski. So all these works are more or less on on a similar line itself. So you can quote the anthropological thought while you are writing paper 2. And even in the last part, for example, when you are writing about the applied part of anthropology, chapter 9, you can use the examples of the paper 1, chapter 10. For example, you can write about kinanthropometry, and you can write about the other things that you read about genetics, etc. in the last part of the 9th chapter also. And for tribal issues, when you are writing the tribal issues, it is more or less an anthropological thought only. So, in my opinion, anthropological thought is a cornerstone for both the papers, and you can interlink around the anthropological thought itself. Okay, Sandeep Singh, I am done as Sushant. You are stuck at 220 and are struggling for validation. Here is plethora of material as well as. So, shall we avoid attempting question from specific topics like. Sushant, this is the strategy that I followed when when I wrote the first mains in 2020. I could not read some of the parts and I left those parts. But if we see the trend in the recent years, like the last 2 years, they are asking questions in such a way that the options, like you should write the entire set, right? If you are writing question number 6, there will be 3 questions in sixth question, and they are asking in such a way every part of the syllabus is being covered. So leaving is very huge risk. You can't leave anything. At least try to have a basic understanding. And if you don't have any alternative, you can see in such a way that you can write the 10-marker question with a very low efficiency, so that you can improve upon. And for improving the marks, one is bringing authenticity in our answers. Authenticity means you should write some anthropologist names, some works, Second is bringing very good structure in your answers. As I discussed, you can bring some of the good diagrams or following the structure continuously. These are the two things that you can do. But you can't leave any topic. Topic leaving is a very huge risk that you should take. You can't take such a risk in the examination. Try to cover at least all the parts of the syllabus. If it is anything difficult, then only you try to leave it, but try to complete everything. Sai Madhavi. How did you manage the time constraint in the examination, not compromising the efficiency and content? Sai Madhavi, that's what I am saying. For that time management, you should practice a lot. So, in my opinion, the time management I got is because of writing answers daily. I used to write at least 2 answers daily. Then test series I used to follow religiously. I did not write 1 or 2 tests, remaining all I wrote. So then you can understand what is your time frame for each question, and in which question your efficiency is low and in which question your content is low. Once you write this test series, you will find these lacunas in your preparation, and you can use those gaps and you can improve upon from there. Is that fine, Madhavi, or should I say something? Do you have any other doubts? And Sushant, even you can ask any doubt, because this time you should improve upon some 60 marks, and next year you should come here and you should discuss others. What is your strategy? Ranjit, I did the snippets of 1 to 150 only, because 150 to 300 it was somewhat huge. So sir and I discussed. This time sir was trying to reduce the size of snippet, and he was trying to reduce the word limit also. The new snippets can help you a lot. But 1 to 150 snippets, I followed them religiously. I read it twice, I guess. I took a printout and I read those 1 to 150 snippets, and I have incorporated those in my answer sheets. Sai Madhavi, I used to write tests alternate days. Once I am done with the prelims result, I used to write test alternate days. So I used to keep one complete slot for test only. I used to do it in the morning 6 to 9 slot. So in that slot you will be less disturbed and you can write more effectively also. So in the starting it can be very difficult. I used to feel very burned down once I wrote the entire test. But for 1 or 2 weeks, if you write alternate days, if you are writing the test, you will get accustomed to it and you can continue doing it in the next week also. So try to write test alternate days. If not full test, try to write sectional test. Start doing 8 questions a day, alternate days, or 10 questions alternate days. In such a way, you can come into the habit of writing. So once you are done with the prelims, that should be your prime target until the result comes out. Once the result came out, you should write complete test. You should write the complete test, alternate days or once in 3 days, so that you can complete all the test series. Can you please provide some of your answer copies for reference? Definitely, I'll ask sir to share it with you all. It can be helpful. I'll ask Sari to share it in a group so you can read some of my answer sheets. Yes, Anil, I also felt the same. The questions were like more open-ended. I also did not do fairly well, I guess, that I should improve upon. But in such questions, you will have the basic idea. If you can't quote anthropologists, you can use you can write it as a general studies answer. Like for example, there is this question regarding politics. So you will be reading about politics in GS2. So bring some ideas from GS2, and you can use some anthropological ideas. So it's all making up in the examination hall. To get those quick references, you should practice more before the examination. But yes, I think you should read upon more also. Maybe you can read IGNOU material once, or Ian sir will discuss and may provide some of the good answers for those such fake questions. But it's all about managing your anxiety in the examination hall and writing something which you can't leave it there and then and there. Anil, this I will discuss with sir and I'll come back to you also, like how to write those vague questions. Sir can be in a very good position to answer you that question. Can you please specify some diagrams? For example, when you are writing about Varnashrama system, you can write the flow chart where there is this karma and ardha, this entire flow chart that you can write. In homonization, you can draw a flow chart, or in the psychic unit of mankind, there you can write some diagrams. It's all about you can also follow this book called Vivek Bamse. There are some very good diagrams that are there, and you can make some flow charts. In physical anthropology, you should prepare more, but all these things you should practice. You should try to make your answer. If you are drawing such diagrams, even your time can be saved and you can improve upon your speed also. So I will share some of the diagrams in the group once I am done with this class. I can share some diagrams so that you will get a fair idea. Contemporary relevance is the ideal case when you are ending your answer. But if you don't get any contemporary relevance, you try to. Yes, contemporary relevance is very good. If you are having contemporary relevance, then you should definitely write it, or you can also make it futuristic. Like it can the structure of family can be like this in the future, or you can quote some of the current affairs, as you said, contemporary relevance. It can be fine, but for that you should make an entire chart of such contemporary issues that are there, and you should write those and make a box around it. Okay, guys, thank you so much.